Here we are in episode 71 of the Simple Success podcast. And
this is financial life coaching from a happiness perspective.
I'm not sure I want to talk about this, John. Why not, DT? Because it's not a problem for me, so I'm in no hurry to make it go away. Okay, well, as always, think of it as coaching happiness.
When you change you change everything.
Does this mean that you, DT, are not a fan of procrastination?
Among other things, yes, I am not a fan of procrastination or any unpleasant tasks.
Even so, I'm not going to wait to take us into the first part of our show where we
continue to identify.
Yes, over and over we continue to identify our topic. Fun, huh?
Sure, as long as I don't have to change.
Could you be changed into doing something?
Change from what?
From someone who wastes mental energy and procrastinates.
I already said I'm not a fan of that sort of thing.
Yes, you did, but that's just saying.
Yeah, so what's wrong with that?
Well, nothing, DT, so long as you're okay with not doing.
What do you mean? I do stuff. I don't procrastinate on everything.
That's funny. How do you decide what things on which to procrastinate and what things to actually do?
It's effective time management.
It is not.
Okay, you're not going to like this, John.
As my cat would say, I'll be the judge of that.
Okay, maybe you will like it.
Go on, we have plenty of time.
In this episode, we're talking about the sixth, yes, that very symptom of the 6 fears of poverty.
So, this thing that's been going on is done going then?
Not at all, John. It goes until wait, we're backward.
We're backwards? I mean, like this?
I mean, you lead the discussion.
Oh, you mean it goes until I, not you, say it does?
Yes, we're back in sync on that now, thanks.
Good. So, do you have the mental room for a quick tax joke?
What? This isn't the Tax Freedom Day episode, John. But since we're being different, okay.
Of course it isn't. And yes, that would have been better, but this bit came out after that was done.
Can't control all negative consequences. Go on, then.
It's a tax joke.
You said that already. What is it?
Ready?
Yes.
Okay, get this. Ukraine has told everyone that they don't need to declare stolen Russian weapons as income for tax purposes. Check the show notes for credit on that.
Perhaps you'll be so kind as to explain that joke later. Like a lot later.
Yes, when I explain all the tax jokes. Yes, if you have to explain a joke.
Yeah, enough said.
So, the first thing our friend Knapp points out here is the habit we all have of putting off until tomorrow things that should have been done yesterday. We can get a false sense of accomplishment that way.
You mean like taking out the trash?
No, that has to happen the night before it's picked up.
Right, so you can't procrastinate.
Well, not on that one anyway.
So like what?
Anything that will just figuratively pile up. Like, I will organize my t-shirt drawer today.
Or better yet, I will invest in crypto today.
Yeah, or not just crypto. Maybe that. Or maybe something else we've put on your investing bucket list.
Yeah, we could cross that one off the list. Anything else?
There are. A lot, in fact. Like spending so much time making alibis and excuses that you could have gotten the job done.
Maybe even in less time.
That, and refusal to set up blocks of time, to accept responsibility, your willingness to compromise, and compromising instead of using difficulties as stepping stones.
I take it you have a favorite form of procrastination?
Well, I'd be in a bad way if I had a favorite problem, wouldn't I? It would be like loving task aversion.
Okay, but there's a reason to break up that list, so what is it?
Bargaining with life for a penny.
Excusez-moi?
It's a great poem from this book, Think and Grow Rich, but it's written by someone named Jesse Rittenhouse, and it goes like this. I bargained with life for a penny, and life would pay no more. However, I begged at evening when I counted my scanty store. Life is a just employer. He gives you what you ask, but once you have set the wages, why, you must bear the task. I worked for a menial's hire, only to learn dismayed that any wage I had asked of life would have willingly paid.
So how does that relate?
Well, it covers how we get what we ask for, specifically in this phrase about our compensation.
Interesting. And there's more, right?
There is? Oh, yeah. I mean, there is.
And you're most happy to spell them out, I assume.
I am. They are planning to fail by failing to plan, the old mantra we all know, and some less typical advice about burning bridges.
You mean not burning bridges, don't you?
No, I mean to burn them. When you don't, you have an alternative, a plan B, and you might not commit yourself to winning. Major figures in human history have followed this advice, burning ships so that the warriors had to win or die.
Da, 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 da.
And then there's the lack of purpose and self-control.
Right, since having a definite purpose in life is nearly the same thing as having goals.
Right. And then the final and perhaps most important,
Which is what?
it is expecting poverty and associating with those who accept poverty.
Reminds me of that Roman slave Epictetus.
Why?
You know why? The key is to keep company only with those who uplift you, who bring forth your best.
Well, that does pretty well sum things up.
Oh, that sounds like a break is near.
It is. But first, you owe me 5 farthings, say the bells of St. Martin's.
What? Oh, isn't that from the book 1984?
It is. And you should probably also know that war is peace and that monetization is...
Break number 1.
Hello, everyone. This is John with the Simple Success Podcast, financial life coaching from a happiness perspective. Because we know you want to show us some serious love in return for the tremendous benefits you get from us. Please head over to the support link in our written show notes. That's the words on your podcast player. There, you can choose from a $9.99 per month doing level of support, a $4.99 knowing level, or a basic intro level of just 99 cents per month. Great place to start, whichever you choose. Thank you so much for helping us do this for you. And to leave us a voice message, which just might see the light of day in a future podcast, go to those same written show notes. You'll go to a site where you can leave a video, audio, or text-only message, depending on how you feel at the moment. You can also send us an audio file attached to an email if you use just more than your phone for stuff. I won't repeat those links because weird. And anyway, show notes. It's all in there, and it's all easy.
Back from the break so soon, you reverend vice, you gray iniquity, you father ruffian, you vanity in years?
I am, O Henry IV.
I will be pleased when we can stop figuring out how to include a Shakespeare line in this show, you professor of psychology.
No, you won't. You'll just want something else.
You mean like more fear of poverty?
Well, maybe more, DT. But I would hope you would want less.
Less fear? You want me to have less fear?
I do, DT.
Oh, that's sweet, John, to include me in your personal goals.
Oh, thanks, but it's not that. It's just that you have quite enough to deal with.
Yeah, great. So we've got the definition of procrastination, but what are the costs of procrastination?
Well, not making people happy is the big one.
Oh, that. Well, it's not a problem.
Why isn't it?
Because I'll just think about it tomorrow.
Right, Scarlett. Good plan. More mind tools.
Thank you, kind sir. And while you weren't looking, I Googled examples of procrastination.
Shh, DT. Don't let our friends know how you did that.
They'll forget in a second, especially when they hear what I found.
Which is what?
That people have even asked what are the most common types of procrastination.
And what are they? According to the internet, I mean.
They actually name the people personas. The first is the avoider.
Well, what makes him or her avoid?
Having an answer?
Any answer?
Yes, any answer. The avoider doesn't want to know. They just want the problem to go away without realizing that only they can make that happen.
Isn't there also an optimist in this mix?
There is. That being the person who thinks that things will always take less time than they do. So they start late.
Yeah, sounds like me. Starting a 10-mile walk at 2 in the afternoon.
Playing with that daylight savings time thing, I see.
Well, not anymore. That's done. Different story.
Until it's not.
Right, until then. Like I said, different story.
Any more personas of active procrastinators? Or passive procrastinators?
One more. The seeker of pleasurable activities.
Who does what? Exhibits more complex behaviors, even procrastinatory behaviors?
It's a person who only wants good things to happen, and so avoids any result because it could possibly be bad.
So they didn't have a needed degree of control, huh?
No, which is really the problem, along with abstract goals, instead of a definite purpose in life.
Yeah.
Fortunately, we can and do have control over our investing, no matter what people may think.
Any famous problems?
Well, lots, I'm sure, but the Frank Lloyd Wright one is good.
What's that?
You know the famous Falling Water House?
The one in Pennsylvania?
Yeah, that one.
Well, what about it?
He almost didn't draw the thing to begin with.
Why not?
Because his client wasn't on the way yet.
Explain, please.
Once his client called, He realized it was the real thing, and he got quickly to work.
Good for him.
And for the client, and architecture in general, as it turns out.
Yeah. Any more procrastinating problems?
Well, yeah, but I'll tell you about them later.
How much later?
I don't know, whenever.
Are you procrastinating?
No, I just have low confidence in the success of the whole thing. Like, I'll do it, and then you won't want it. Another behavioral psychology thing.
Oh, so it's my fault.
What?
So it's my fault, I said.
Oh, it is? Oh, okay. Well, don't worry about that. I'm just going to go check my social media now.
But we're writing the script for this episode. Check later.
Oh, yes, indeed. I shall indeed have an epiphany in which I will be focused and not distracted.
But first, break number 2.
During which I'll also check my email.
Just for a second, though, right?
We know a lot about you already because we know ourselves. For example, we know that you know how to listen to our podcast. We also know that you probably know how to subscribe. So as soon as you're done with that, tell us your story. We have ways you can contact us. It involves a special link where you can leave us a message. We may have an email address for you as well in the future, and we'll let you know if that happens. The reason for subscribing? I thought you'd never ask. When you subscribe, you automatically download all future episodes of that podcast. It just happens in your player without you having to go search again. How cool is that? This means better rankings for the podcast, more attention from advertisers, and more money. And this means more and better stuff for you. So your motivation is simple and easy. Subscribe today, whatever app and from whatever place you like. And don't just try to subscribe. There is no try. There is only do. We're changing the way we look at things, and remember, that's good. Eso es buenísimo. Also remember, this is financial life coaching from a happiness perspective. Coaching happiness. Our call to action is right in the show notes. Find it, and you win too.
And we are back and ready to rumble.
You're on the right pod, DT?
Oh, I so am. So here's a weird question.
Maybe not.
Could procrastination ever be helpful?
Yeah, for the guy who bought Tom Brady's last touchdown football the day before he unretired.
Oh, yeah. He just saved more than $516,000.
Guess he was feeling a bit deflated, huh?
I will promptly ignore that idiot pronouncement of yours.
Oh, thank you again, kind sir.
As long as everyone listening subscribes to this podcast.
Are you holding them hostage?
Yes, of course. That's what I do as as Doubting Thomas.
Oh, so this isn't a joke.
National Lampoon magazine did that once a long time ago.
And
it worked out pretty well for them.
It was kind of like clickbait, wasn't it?
In the sense that it was pure manipulation, sure. What's your point?
No point, DT. I'm subscribed, by the way.
Great, John, but you're the host, so that doesn't count.
It doesn't?
Well, it's better if listeners send us emails and voicemails and stuff.
Sure, but I guess I should do the investing tie-in thing so they have a reason to support us.
Yeah, and while you're doing that, make sure there is a specific call to attitude.
You mean a call to action?
I meant what I said.
And you said what you meant.
And a DT is faithful 100%.
That sounds oddly familiar.
I thought it just sounded odd.
Oh, you mean odd, like the line, "When will you pay me, say the bells at Old Bailey."
Kinda like that, as if bells talked.
Right. So today, in our modern society, one of the most enjoyable activities is our simple solution.
Our simple solution to success.
Right, to success is one word.
And it is procrastination, right?
No, DT, think about it.
Look, bud, I said your money or your life. I'm thinking it over.
It's the opposite of procrastination, and it sort of rhymes.
Oh, because of the shun at the end?
No, since you asked, it's action.
That's a really desperate rhyme.
Well, that it is, but really, all rhymes are pretty desperate unless they're handled by a good poet or a good lyricist.
Same thing.
Well, yeah, sort of. But if I were a poet, I would work hard to come up with a better rhyme than that.
But still, you take action. You do something.
Yes, and since you asked,
yes,
here's an illustration. You remember that Wall Street cheat sheet?
As if it was my wallpaper.
Okay, so name that key big step that's right near the top of that graph, right before thrill and euphoria.
Belief.
As a man thinketh.
And I thinketh it's time to get fully invested.
Right, which is not procrastination.
Isn't that you repeating yourself?
Yes, it is, and hopefully on a daily basis. But...
And then repetition is a marvelous thing, too. The conscious mind finally gets tired of hearing you say everything over and over and over. It's all right if you bound to repeat that. I can't stand here and watch you forever. Go on in and take it into something, see what you do with it. That's the way it works.
Practice, 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 practice.
Which is how you've all gotten good.
Gracias por escuchar.
A la prochaine. This podcast and our other podcast are productions of Little Red Hen Industries. The supporting cast who helps me bake the bread includes
Techno King, John C. Brandy, Fact Checker, Abraham Lincoln, French Consultant, Virginia Mitchell, Media Expert, Favor, Abasi E.K., Psychologist, William James, Rabbit Hole Advisor, Dr. Mark Perrott, Sound Designer, Goodly Amo, Marconi, Spanish Consultant, Cameron J.K. Brandy, Videographer, Alfred Hitchcock, Audio Props, Les Paul, Inspiration, Napoleon Hill and Earl Nightingale.
We also have websites, and you can subscribe to both podcasts and get ebooks and other great stuff. You can send us a video, audio, or text message, but of course, you'll have to head to the show notes, either on your phone or on the web, to actually get links and stuff. And those clickable links are in the show notes.
And before we forget, the artificial intelligence or AI voices you hear in our work come from the online tone generator, linked in the show notes.
Finally, you can find us on Podmatch and Listen Notes, where we consider guests as well as consider guesting on other people's pods.
And really finally, the music for our pods comes from Cute by Ben Sound and from Piano Background by Nick Simon Adams. The sound effects credits go to Jackson Academy Ashmore, Just Kidding, Canusi G, Dr. Jekyll, Joe Payne, Everything Sounds and ERH, all on freesound.org.